Good evening. You're listening to AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz and 104.1 FM and KSCO.com. It's now 6 minutes past 7 p.m. I'm Chris Spencer with your weather and traffic updates for tonight. Patchy drizzle and fog out there after 11 p.m. along the coast with increasing clouds, a low around 57. For Wednesday, drizzle and fog up until around 11 a.m. coast side with a high near 67. And those low 90s to low 100s in the inland valleys. Wednesday night, drizzle and fog after 11 p.m., increasing clouds, and a low around 57 along the coast. Monterey Bay boaters forecast for tonight, west winds 5 to 15 knots, wind waves 1 to 3 feet, west swell 2 to 4 feet at 9 seconds, patchy smoke through the night, and fog after midnight out there on the bay. Quick look at the traffic this evening. Traffic collision 4149 County Road 15 in the King City area. Also a report of a fire near US 101 South and Arroyo Seco Road in the King City area. Traffic collision Buena Vista Avenue near Hollister Gilroy in the No Name area there, it says. And also a traffic collision US 101 South at Co-Train in the Hollister Gilroy area. 64 degrees here at KSCO. Up next, Off the Lip Radio Show.
Opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are not necessarily those of KSCO Radio, its staff, management, or advertisers. If something is said with which you disagree, please call us during the program in order to help us balance comments.
Good evening and welcome to Off the Lip, the show about surfing and skateboarding. If you'd like to join the show tonight, give us a call at 831-479-1080. That's 831-479-1080. And now, here are your hosts for tonight's program, Neil Pearlberg and Terry Campion.
Good evening and welcome to the Off the Lip Radio Show, broadcasting from Santa Cruz, California. You got it, TC. Tonight, in studio, a very, very special guest. We've had a lot of great guests on the show in the 3 years we've been doing this, TC, right? A lot of great guests, but probably none finer than the man sitting in the chair tonight.
I think it could be a first for us, for sure. Right?
This is the most nervous I've been in a while. Because the guy, I've said it previous all week. He has the bat phone to God. And that worries me. Because do you think he's had a little chat with the man upstairs and to check on your check?
If you're worried, do you have something that we need to confess now? Is that what's going on? Why should you be worried?
Aren't you?
No.
You're smooth.
Mm-hmm.
That's because you're smooth.
He's faking it.
By the way,
he's like, I'm not admitting to a thing.
Not a thing. In studio tonight, we have Santa Cruz's newest diaper changer, author, Aptos Man of the Year, Grand Marshal of the Aptos Parade this year.
That's a gig.
Oh, yeah, that's a gig. Right? That's what I'm most proud of. No, it was a huge honor.
It was a huge honor. I'm in the back with Julie in that Jeep, and he's up front with a Toyota and waving. Did a great job.
What was did you have a fancy title for the parade?
No.
You weren't
zero.
Like
zero? It really irritated me, too. He's up on stage every Sunday going, I'm the grandma. I'm like, I'm nothing.
But you know another thing, too, is we don't have very many guests with such a smooth radio voice.
A smooth voice.
We're getting out voice tonight.
we're done.
We're totally out voice.
We may be fired. He has a new gig.
It is great to be here. It really is.
Okay, who are you?
Well, I'm Rene Schlaepfer.
Thank you, because I didn't have to say that last name.
Exactly. No, nobody can say it. That's why I just call myself Pastor Rene at Twin Lakes Church.
Or do we go with your radio name?
Well,
which was what?
Back in the day, I started out in radio before I was a pastor, and I used an air name, which clearly was different than Rene Schlaepfer. Right, because if you're on the air and you say, hey, everybody, nice to meet you. We're here on KSCO with Rene Schlaepfer. People would look at the radio and go, Gesundheit, like I sneezed or something. So I thought long and hard about this, and I thought, okay, I can't use Rene.
No.
because first of all, people have kidded me my whole life that that's a girl's name.
I'm
Renee.
Terry. I know the feeling.
Okay, yes, seriously, we could start a club.
Right.
I always tell people.
By the way, wait a minute. I'm Neil.
Yeah, tough guy.
Yeah.
Manly name. But no, I always tell people, I'm kind of sensitive about it. My parents were Swiss, and they thought that was a masculine name in America, so they gave me the name Rene. But I really don't like it when people make fun of that. I'm kind of sensitive about it. My middle name is Jennifer, but I don't like to talk about it. No, I'm not sensitive about it at all. But yeah, it's a very Swiss name, right? Rene Schlaepfer.
It is a very Swiss name.
And so I knew I had to change it when I was on the radio. I started out doing radio actually in junior high. Between my junior high and high school years, my voice changed when I was really young. When I was like 12.
Where'd you get this,
and,
this voice? Where'd this voice show up?
Your radio voice showed up at 12?
Literally, when I was, I was, I think, 11. And I remember, this is how honest to goodness, this is how I thought, maybe I should go into radio. I was walking to school one day. I was 11 or 12 years old, and some kids started coming up to me, handing me pieces of paper, going, "Can you read this? Can you read this?" Why?
Why?
And so I thought, hey, maybe there's a career in this for me. And so I got into radio. I worked at several different stations in the Bay Area. Probably can't say their call letters because I think they're still actively competitors of KSCO.
No,
but,
KSCO doesn't have any competitors.
But that's
Is
true.
anybody even listening to KSCO?
No, it's that you're peerless. It's that you're head and shoulders. But I in the Bay Area, I was at an easy listening station that's still on called K-Bay, and but back in the day, we sounded like this. It was
yeah.
You're tuned to the bright and the beautiful. This is K-Bay at FM 100. So that was the way it was back in the day, right? And
then Simon and Garfunkel would start playing or something.
Exactly right. Sergio Mendes.
Sergio Mendes.
Frank Sinatra, the chairman of the board. It's the chairman of the board. Frank Sinatra. Francis Albert Sinatra on K-Bay. That's how it was. So, and then also KEZR over in San Jose, which still is there. It's more contemporary hits and stuff like that, and kind of a mix.
Whitney Houston,
and whatever else is happening. Back in the day, I think we were playing that Celine Dion and next Outcast and Hey Ya.
How'd you stay
on
away?
KEZR. Well, that's the thing. It was these gear shifts between Celine Dion and Outkast.
There is no
Third Day or whatever. Three doors
Green
down.
Day.
Green Day. So it was. I cannot call myself Rene Schlaepfer on the air. So I really thought hard about this. I thought, what's
you were married at the time.
I was not married at the time.
So did you pick a name to get girls?
Of course. Okay. When you're not married, you do everything to get girls. And so I thought to myself, okay, first of all, I want a manly name, right, Terry?
Tough.
And now I know why you have people call you TC. You're still a little sensitive about that.
I'm scared to be called Terry.
Of course you are. And so I thought, okay, what for a first name? I want a name that's kind of short, manly, really basic. So I chose Ben.
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 Yeah.
Ben.
Like Charlton Heston from Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Big Ben.
That's right. And so I noticed that a lot of the other air personalities whose names I liked had nouns for a last name, like a guy named Bobby Ocean on KFRC. Ocean.
Yeah,
what a
that's
great
good.
name.
Yeah.
So I really thought hard about this. What's it like? A masculine, easy to pronounce name, which I was thirsty for with a last name like Schlaepfer. So I chose Stone.
That's good. Yeah,
Ben
rock,
Stone.
How
solid
manly
is
you were,
that?
man.
Rock solid, Ben Stone. So I thought, I am so sick of people making fun of both my first and my last name. Ben Stone is unassailable. No one will ever criticize me again for any reason.
No.
I mean, how can you?
No,
You're
you're 6 foot right now. Ben Stone,
Totally.
6'5",
6'5",
255.
chiseled, looks like Michael Phelps. Right, that's Ben Stone.
Now, when that happened, did girls come running?
Well, there's a lot of other radio stories that we could tell but this is still the family hour. But and those, that's the old days. But it definitely was a fun name to use. The radio station had jingles, Ben Stone on Magic 107, this sort of thing, And so I was locked in. I had to use this air name. And they had they had made little like 8x10 glossies of me, black and white, and with my signature. This was in Portland, Oregon, that I started using this name, a big top 40 station. And they had buses everywhere, the TriMet in Portland. And so they bought the bus sides. Ben Stone coming to Magic 107, like I was a pre-existing thing from somewhere, Ben Stone. And so, in other words, I can't go back. So my first night on the air, we do the top 10 of the day, top 40 radio.
Celine, here she comes.
And I come in. It was, you know what? I remember the song. It was The Police and Every Breath She Takes.
Oh, it's good.
It was mid-'80s. Was back in the day. So that's a great song.
Yeah.
So Magic 107 is KMJK Lake Oswego, Portland's new music leader. Coming in at number 10 of the top 10 tonight. It's The Police and Every Breath She Takes on Magic 107 FM with your buddy Ben Stone. I turn off the microphone. The request lines are all lit up.
Yeah.
First, I kid you not, first button I push, first call I get, my first night on the air with that air name. I go, Magic 107, can I help you? And I hear about a junior high-aged boy in the background laughing. He's got the radio station on. I can tell he's got a bunch of friends with him at some party. He goes, oh, yeah, me and my friends are just calling. We want to talk to Ben Stone. I say, this is Ben Stone, man. How can I help you? He goes, oh, we just want to know, have you been stoned lately? They hang up on me. They go, what? No!
That's
Every night I heard that joke. Kids thought I chose that name because I was a stoner.
Yeah, that's
Ben
funny.
Stone. Not to mention the initials.
Yeah, BS.
What was I thinking?
I'm telling you.
So
It's a marketing genius.
now the bottom line is I'm not a good brander. You know, God gave me this name, Rene Schlaepfer. I'm sticking with it.
You should.
Thank you, Neil.
You're very welcome.
But that was back in the day. I loved being on the radio, though. It was fun. It's a fun thing to do when you're young.
Do you want to come back?
You know, I'll tell you that I enjoyed it, but at some point where for the 1,000th time I'm playing Little Red Corvette by Prince,
Right,
and I'm going, what am I doing?
Well, to me, you're still doing it. You just have a different format.
Well, you could
You know,
KSCO.
maybe you're right.
KSCO would gladly accept the BS hour. They could have.
Hold it.
Right?
Don't they already have the BS hour?
This is it.
This is it. I thought that's what I was on. At some point I just thought, do I want to spend the rest of my life, playing the latest top 40 hit and selling Zik cream, and I just want to do something that matters. Honestly, we used to get kids who would call the station. This is getting maybe a little too serious, but they would call the station and they were suicidal, and they would say, I'm really hurting and I don't know what to do. Would you play, Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult because I want to take my own life? And you're going, no, I'm never going to play that song for you. And even though I love that song, more cowbell, but you want me to play that song because you want to take your life. And so I would recommend counselors I knew or youth pastors. And eventually I thought, I want to be on that phone call. I want to be the person that they're calling because I want to do something that's I loved my years in radio, but I thought I've done that. That was a fun career, and now I want to do something else that's got a little bit, for me, got a little bit more positive influence in society. So that's why I made the switch.
Are you a Hobbit fan?
I do like The Hobbit. I do like Tolkien.
Okay, Hobbit question number one before we go to commercial.
Here we go.
Hobbit question number one before we go to commercial. What color is Bilbo's front door?
Green.
Who said green? You
Yes,
said green?
yes.
You're right.
Thank you.
1 out of 1. Okay, before we go to commercial.
Well done.
This portion shows
Come
brought
on.
to you by the Britannia Arms, located in Capitola. Traditional English pub. Dog-friendly patio. Great English food. Let me say that again one more time. Great English food.
What is English food?
Is there such a thing as great
By the way, I want
English
to
food?
congratulate Lyndon Gooch, who has been on our show.
Yes.
The young man played for Sunderland in the Premier League last Saturday, and Irene, who works at Britannia Arms, is his mom.
She's a sweetheart,
Congratulations
isn't she? Wow.
to Lyndon Gooch. That is a milestone to make it to the English Premier League.
Okay, now listen. Has anyone from Santa Cruz ever made it to that level
That's a
in
great
professional
question.
soccer?
No one. I'm telling you.
'Cause you are a soccer
maybe
guy.
the biggest sports performance of a Santa Cruz athlete
Well,
ever.
I mean, that is the biggest, besides
Maybe.
Formula One, maybe the biggest. What's the biggest? Is that soccer?
Soccer's the biggest.
But, yeah, okay.
I'm talking about Luke Rockhold, yeah.
Right,
but
yeah.
MMA, man.
No, I'm with you. Well,
Nat Young, yeah.
Yeah, but just people here don't understand it as far as the world.
Huge. Huge.
How much money is he making now?
Oh, yeah.
The chicks and the Ferraris and stuff.
Oh, yeah. See the girl he had in the show?
Oh, man.
TC's got a one-track mind. He asked me, when you were in radio, did you get the chicks? Does this guy get the chicks?
Yes.
No, actually, Neil said that.
I didn't say that at all.
Hey, you know what? Britannia Arms, we had some friends visiting from Chicago last weekend, took them to
there.
Britannia Arms. They loved it.
Yeah.
Great place.
Great
Well,
food.
and I just love the vibe.
We'll be right back after this very short break. Don't go away.
Hey, it's Fran from Steamer Lane Supply, a new snack stop located across the street from Steamer Lane in Lighthouse Field. Healthy and quick food, great organic coffee, house-made soft drinks, and surf essentials like wax, leashes, and sunblock are available to fuel your stoke. 5% discount if you're in your wetsuit, and there's even a menu just for dogs. Hours are Tuesday through Sunday, 7:30 to 7. Look for our food truck on the weekends, serving great fish tacos. And we're on Facebook and Instagram at Steamer Lane Supply. Hope to see you out there.
Good morning, Santa Cruz. Hi, it's Julie from Toyota Santa Cruz. And I understand that you guys are sick of my ad. Well, guess what? So am I. So they drugged me down here to make a new one. And I'm supposed to tell you how great our dealership is. Why? Because it is. We're selling cars like crazy. New Tacoma, the 4Runner. We have over 500 new cars in stock. What else do you want me to tell them? How cute I look right now? We are the proud sponsors of Off the Lip. We've been their sponsors since day one. We appreciate all the business from the skateboard and surf community in Santa Cruz, and I am always here for you guys. Anytime you need something, just come to the dealership. Ask for me. I'm in the fish tank on the showroom. Can't miss me. I'll make sure you get a sweet deal. My name is Julie Frigoli, General Sales Manager at Toyota of Santa Cruz. Highway 1 at 41st Avenue in Capitola.
And we're back here tonight with Mr. Ben Stone, otherwise known as Rene Schlaepfer, who is the wonderful pastor from Twin Lakes Church in Aptos. And we're so honored to have him on the show tonight.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks,
And
TC.
just
Great to be
very,
here.
very stoked. And we're going to carry on here. But question number 2 from the Hobbit trivia.
No.
Okay. What is the name of the home where Elrond and his elves live?
Oh, I know this.
What is the name of the home where Elrond and his elves live? This is a moderate question too.
This is a moderate question.
Yeah.
My wife and my kids are screaming at the radio right now, going, "Come on, Dad! You got to be joking! You know the answer to this because they're all fans too."
You have 10 seconds.
Oh boy, come on!
It starts with an R.
Rivendell.
Yes, exactly right.
Wow.
Thank you.
Very, very good.
Family's high-fiving right now.
They're high-fiving. it.
Chest
very,
bumps
very
going
good.
on over there at the house.
Chest bumps going on. This portion of
that's
the show is
right.
brought to you by. Who's this portion of the show brought to you by? I think it's brought to you by. Who should I pick on Lucky on tonight's show? The Santa Cruz County Parks invite you to Parks and Recs. That little fundraiser party for dogs and their families at Simpkins Family Swim Center on Sunday, August 28th. Be early and save with advance tickets for Parks and Rec. It's a very, very fun event for you and your woof and your dog. $15 for adults, $5 for youth, kids and under 3, and dogs get in free. Tickets on sale now at santacruzparks.com.
When is that, Neil? That sounds
That's
so fun.
August 20th. It's a big. They got pizza, they got lemonade, they got beer, wine, they got they got things for the dogs.
Sunday.
They've got pop martinis.
Ooh, and you know we're all about the dogs.
We are all about the dogs.
Yes.
From the Dog Jam, man.
Right.
We're all about the dogs. We love.
That's
we
right.
love-
Great cause.
We love the dogs. Anyway, but let's get back to the pastor. Where should we go? We did radio a little bit.
I did
wanna
did
talk
radio.
about-
That was super fun. I did
I
radio
wanna-
before I got
I
into
wanna-
ministry.
Talk about you growing up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
'Cause it wasn't easy. You had a heart. It wasn't easy.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Your dad passed away before you were 4 years old.
Before I was 4 years old. So my parents were Swiss immigrants, and my dad studied at UC Berkeley, went into architecture, and they always thought that they'd go back to Switzerland to raise their family.
Why do you want to leave? That's a nice country. It's a
Switzerland's
Switzerland
beautiful.
Why do they
is-
wanna leave
it's
there?
gorgeous.
Yes.
It's spectacular. Well, you know, he had free college on the GI Bill.
Oh, he did?
Because he was a dual citizen. He'd served in the American Army, even though his parents were Swiss. But
Right.
it's a long story. But he served in the American Army, so he got a GI Bill. So they're over here in the States, and they have 2 little kids. And then my dad gets a quick acting cancer and dies.
Wow.
And so my mom doesn't really know the language. Not a citizen of this country, really debates going back to Switzerland.
Scared?
And
Scared?
she's totally afraid.
Right.
And you know, there's not the safety net back in those days. This is the 60s. And so she's in poverty, and she's raising my little sister and myself. And so she decides to stay here because she thought that there would be more opportunities for us as kids growing up here. I think she was probably right in terms of how wide open America is. If you have ambition,
right,
you can get into radio or whatever it is you want to do. And so she stays over here. But it was a kick having a mom who really did not speak English in those days very well. Growing up here in the States, we spoke just Swiss German at home, and then I spoke English at school. But
so
Mom,
you were the interpreter.
I was the interpreter, and Mom did her best to speak English, but it was constantly things like, instead of, she wanted to tell my friends, you know, you look so distinguished, and it would be, you look so extinguished today. Or she wanted to tell a friend of ours that we lived way out in the Tulies, and she goes, oh, we are living way out in the tulips. And so I had a friend visiting, and she opened up the refrigerator, and she wanted to say, just fend for yourself. And instead she opens up the fridge and goes, defend yourself. And he thought something was going to come jumping out of the fridge. Right. So this was an everyday occurrence for me, was Mom mangling the English language. But I grew to just love accents and the different kinds of accents in the world, and grew to love that language, which I still speak and love. And I've worked, in fact, I worked in radio over in Switzerland at the Swiss Broadcasting Corporation, sort of their version of the BBC. And
that must have been fun.
It was super fun. It was amazing. Right. We did a documentary.
Is it very different to here?
It's completely different. It's a lot like the BBC. Right. Now since then they've gotten some independent stations which are more like this, but back in the day it was just BBC, right, only in German, and it was very dry and very formal,
strict,
and very strict. Mm-hmm. But that was a great experience just for a few months one summer. And then and had a chance to come back here, but she was great, and then got
She remarried.
She remarried. My stepdad Jet was from Tennessee, and so he was always saying things like, we were living, but he had a grasshopper, and so she would try to imitate those things and would always get them wrong. He was waist high to a locust, and
well, and your father, don't they have? Was he required to do the military in Switzerland as well?
If he had moved back there as an adult, he would have had to. And in fact, until this year, I just turned 55. And from 18 to 55, if you are a male in Switzerland, you must serve in the Army. It's compulsory. Yeah. And so if I went back there, I had to really watch how long I stayed there, because if I went back there for more than 30 consecutive days, they come looking for you.
You get your skis and your rifle, and they say,
exactly right.
Go have fun. You are my friend. Your skis and your rifle.
totally accurate. And so you know, we just after 29 days, I went over, you know, to Germany for a day or two, then came back again. But
Liechtenstein.
Jawohl, Liechtenstein. You've been there. So that was a ton of fun. But Frederick was my dad's name, and Jet was my stepdad's name, and then my stepdad died young. He had a heart attack just a few years after he married my mom. And so I honestly, that's what initialized my faith as a young man, seeing how she dealt with these two tragedies that really struck. They were hard. It wasn't just that she lost two husbands. It was that both times she was really plunged into poverty, into a really difficult situation. But I saw the difference her faith made in her life, that it really kind of helped her stay on beam. And that's what got me thinking there's something to this, you know. But my grandchild, who was just born 3 weeks ago.
And his name is?
Well, my son and my daughter-in-law surprised me. I did not know what gender the baby would be, what the name would be. And when he's born, he calls me and my sister up, gets us both on the phone at the same time. And he goes, it's a boy, and his name is Frederick. That's my dad's name. And Jet. That's my stepdad's name. And my sister and I just started sobbing. It was fantastic.
Well, Jet is such a cool middle name.
Is that not a cool name?
No, for sure.
Jet.
I'd be stoked. My parents, my middle name was Jet. My middle name's Michael. That's boring.
Just change it to Jet.
Jets is cool.
That's a good name.
Yeah, that's like a radio name.
It is. Had I thought it. You know what his last name was? Turner.
Jet Turner?
Jet Turner.
Man.
NFL
like a race car driver.
I know.
NFL name.
Yeah, it's like anything.
I got Rob from Carlitos here. Rob, you there on the phone? Nope, I didn't think so, because I need time to get the phone turned on. So you got to call back, Rob, in a second.
Yeah, he'll call
back. Get the phone turned on for you. You end up in Tahoe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I want to get the story about Harvey, you and Harvey's Casino.
Okay. Well, okay, this is my first church where I'm the teaching pastor, and I'm thinking to myself, it's a tiny church, and we are not growing, and I'm thinking, how can I kind of revitalize this church a little bit? And so I decided we're going to do Easter services at the casino in town, Harvey's. Just kind of shake the church up a little bit, do something a little bit different.
That sounds like a shake-up.
But I don't have any money to do this, and so I write a letter just to whom it may concern, the director of the facilities at Harvey's Casino. I said, we're a little church in town. Can we have a church service in your casino? And, because they have those big showrooms and convention centers and so on. And I don't hear anything back. I figure, it was a dumb idea. They're not going to go for it. So this guy walks up to me after church one day. And he's wearing this expensive looking, like Italian tailored silk suit. And he's wearing cologne and gold rings around his neck, black hair slicked back, rings on his fingers. And he comes up to me just like this. He goes, "Hey, preach." I say, "Hey, how you doing, man?" He goes, "Hey, I just want to shake your hand. My name's Pasquale. Pasquale Penna." That was his real name, Pasquale Penna. He goes, "Yeah, I'm from the East Coast." I said, "No kidding. I had no idea." And he goes, "I just want to say, it's changed my life having Jesus in my heart." And I said, "Oh, that's really great." He goes, "Yeah, and I got your letter." And I thought we must have sent him some kind of a letter, like, membership letter or something. Yeah. And he goes, "Yeah, your letter to Harvey's Casino." And I said, "Oh, no kidding." He goes, "Yeah, I'm the," he says it just like this. He goes, "I'm the administrator of said facility." And I go, "Oh, you know what? I know that was kind of a bad idea. It's a stupid idea to have church at a casino." He goes, "Don't worry about it. We'll fix you up just fine." And I go, I am not exaggerating.
No, I can imagine.
I should have my wife call in because she knows Pasquale, and she's like, "Yes, that's how it was." And so I go, but actually, I said, that kind of probably would blow the church's minds if we had Easter at a casino. Probably I should say no. He goes, "I said, don't worry about it. We'll fix you up." And I said, "Actually, I don't think we have the money to pay for the facilities." He goes, "Don't worry about it." And so now I'm like, I get it. I got to do church there.
You better do it.
Or he's going to send the big man to my house to break my legs.
Cement shoes.
Yeah. So I'm all right. I'm up for it. So we just decided to go for it. Harvey's Casino slogan that year was "The party's at Harvey's."
Yeah.
And so we made posters and put them up all over the town. "Jesus is risen. The party's at Harvey's." And I'm not kidding.
Sellout show.
Sellout show. So
how many people showed up?
Well, Easter Sunday morning, I'm sitting there with my new mafia friend Pasquale, and on the stage at Harvey's, and I'm thinking to myself, stupidest idea ever, because casino people aren't going to want to go to church, and church people aren't going to want to go to casino. And I look up, and there's like 100 people there I've never seen before in my life. They're visitors to the casino who'd heard about this. Then 200, 300, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. It ends up being packed, standing room only, flowing out the door people that had just heard about. The word had just spread around town. It seemed like an odd thing, kind of a sticky thing. People are like, "I want to check this out."
Yeah.
It ends up being the largest religious gathering to that point in the history of Tahoe, and it's in a casino.
Unbelievable.
And I'm just getting so stoked about it because honestly, I'm thinking, this is the kind of thing that Jesus would have done. Yeah. This is really cool. Yeah. So I'm doing this, I'm preaching, and I look in the back, and the back door opens, and a huge, like 6.5 foot tall man dressed entirely from head to toe as the Easter Bunny comes tiptoeing into this service. So here's the story behind that. Little did I know that Harvey's had employed this comedian juggler to dress as the Easter Bunny. And I mean full, like, Disney style. You can't see his face. It's goo-goo eyes and buck teeth and so on. And he is arm in arm with two women from Playboy, two Playboy bunnies in the lobby, and he's handing out Easter candy to the gamblers. And so he's starting to see all these families come in, and he's like, "What's going on?" And the families are looking at him like, "Wow, I've heard of weird churches, but this is something else. Playboy bunnies handing out candy." And as they're coming into church, he starts going, "What's going on?" "We're going to church." And he's thinking to himself, "It's been years since I've gone to church. I want to go to this church service." So he goes to this boss and he says, "Hey, I want to go to the service. I got to take a break and go to the service." His boss goes, "You only get a half an hour break." He goes, "Well, then I'll just go and hear the sermon." His boss goes, "That's not enough time for you to get out of your costume." And then he says, "Well, I'll just kind of take off the my head. His boss goes, I don't want to see little kids look back there and see the Easter Bunny decapitated. So you can do whatever you want on your break, but you got to keep that costume on. And he goes, fine. So that's what I see coming in the door. In the middle of my sermon, I'm seeing the Easter Bunny come in. He sits down in the back. So as most churches do at the end, I'm saying, hey, you know what? If something touched you and you want to come up and have people pray with you, come on up forward afterwards. So during the last song, I'm seeing people coming up to talk to me, to pray with me, and standing in line with everybody else is this guy in this Easter Bunny costume. And he just finally gets to me and puts his hand, whatever, on my shoulder.
Right.
And he ended up getting super involved in the congregation there. I mean, he got involved in our children's ministry. How awesome is it to have the Easter Bunny doing your children's ministry? So that was super fun. That's the story of the church at the casino.
Before we go to break, I want to get Rob's been hanging on here. Hey Rob, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
What's going on, Rob?
What's up?
Good. Not much. Actually, I love that story. That's one of my favorite stories.
Thanks, Rob.
I was actually calling earlier, and I was hanging on earlier to give Rene a way in easily to talk about Frederick.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Yes, Frederick Jett, my new grandson.
You gotta love him.
I love him.
Thanks, Rob, for calling, buddy. We appreciate it. We're going to talk more. Do you have a question?
Hey, thanks, man.
Do you have a question,
Rob?
Also, take it.
He's got it. We're going to talk about your grandson in a minute. Before we go, we got to go one more trivia question. Ready?
Oh no!
Come on, you're 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Can we go difficult, TC, or just go stay with
give him a hard one.
No.
Yeah, because his kid's gonna know it.
What is the name of the treasure Bilbo steals from Smaug's lair that is an heirloom belonging to Thorin?
Oh, Thorin Oakenshield. Thank you.
What is the name of the treasure Bilbo steals from Smaug's lair that is an heirloom belonging to Thorin?
Oh boy, I should have studied up on this. I didn't know I was going to get peppered with Hobbit questions. So, again, this is something my family's screaming at the radio right now.
Yep.
Dad, you're joking.
Going to take a while. I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
The clue is, if I can find the clue, here it is right here. The what?
That's the clue?
I'm going to give you the answer. The Ark and
Thank you for the clue.
The answer is the Ark and
Stone.
The Ark and Stone. This portion of the show is brought to you by beginnerboards.com. Safe and fun. Let me reiterate. Safe and fun surfboards that give everyone the opportunity to have fun while surfing, with prices ranging from $40 to $650. You cannot beat the value at beginnerboards.com. For more info, call Brad Shelton at 831-521-8094. or go to beginnerboards.com. Neil TC here with Ben Stone. Be right back after this very short break. Thanks, Rene. We're going to call you Ben Stone from here on out.
Ben Stone.
Be right back after this very short break. Don't go away.
This is Brother Timmy.
And Cleo from Cleo's Corner at Pono Hawaiian Grill.
Featuring wraps, teriyaki bowls, plate lunches, amazing and creative salads, vegetarian and gluten-free options, and over 20 different types of poke, all made to order, fast, fresh, and healthy. And what's your favorite, Cleo?
The chicken fingers.
Located at 120 Union Street in downtown Santa Cruz. Call us for takeout at 831-426-PONO or check us out on the web at ponohawaiiangrill.com. We put the ono in Pono. Yee-hoo.
Hi, this is Steve Pereira, the beach guy at Bailey Properties in Santa Cruz, California. My wife Diane and I are experienced realtors who know and live at the beach, and we've been bringing the coast home to you since 1982. We'd love to help you sell or buy your slice of paradise here on the Santa Cruz coast. Please give the beach guy a call at 831-818-7064 or give Mrs. Beach Guy a call at 831-818-5939. Also, please drop into our website at lifesabeach.com and check out our available coastal properties. Remember, no one knows the turf. Near the surf, better. Cowabunga.
Attention surfers and paddleboarders. Don't let cold water or cold air take you out of the water for 5 to 6 weeks. Protect your ear canals with custom-made earplugs. The Listening Stack in Capitola is now offering custom earplugs molded to fit your ears perfectly, comfortably protecting your ear canals from the harsh elements of the Pacific Ocean. Stop messing with the universal earplugs that don't work and try something that does. Mention Off the Lip Radio and receive an extra $20 off any custom molded earplugs in our store. The Listening Stack is located at the corner of Capitola Avenue at 41st. The Listening Stack. Protect, enhance, enjoy. 831-498-9890.
And we're back with the Off the Lip Radio Show right here, KSCO AM 1080. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We do tweet. And if you missed the show, missed this great show tonight, you can listen to it again at offthelipradio.com or on iTunes or TuneIn Radio. Really quickly, my good friend Steve Pereira, who did the real estate ad just a second ago.
Of course.
All right. They called me. Got a brand new house, South Palisades, overlooking Rockview, Wind and
that's
Sea.
so beautiful there.
Right?
That's the best.
Sewers.
Yeah.
Well, that's where Steve sold Randy French's house
Randy
right there,
French.
too.
Right there. We
Yeah.
got another
Sue
house
lived
there.
right
Got another
there.
house there for sale.
Wow.
Give him a call. Call Steve-O at 425-SAND, 425-7263. Steve and Diane are they're the best.
Is that
We love
not
them to
possibly one of the best spots on the cliff?
death. Yeah. It's
I love that.
Yeah.
We have some relatives from Texas. We always take them to Rockview
Beautiful.
for the sunset.
In
So
studio
beautiful.
tonight, the wonderful pastor from Twin Lakes Church, Rene Schlaepfer's in studio.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, TC.
You're
Great
very,
to
very
be
welcome.
here.
So we're not going to get through. I got questions here.
I know. We went through
I've
this
been
earlier.
studying all.
Yeah.
Here's a question I want to just one.
Okay.
I wrote this down. People say they are spiritual and feel connected to God when they're out in nature, i.e. surfing. But is there a missing element if you're not in worship in a community?
Yeah, that's a great question. Here's what I say. I mean, it's important for me to go out into nature to feel connected. I love to run because I either run on the coast.
Yep.
I usually run East Cliff or West Cliff, or I run in the forest. I run on trails up in De La Viego or in Henry Cowell, because I do feel more connected to God in nature. You should connect to God in nature. It's good for you, but a tree's not going to visit you in the hospital. You know,
Right.
when you're really in need, when you're stuck, when you're up against it, a redwood's not going to come and bring you food. It's not going to lift you up and tell you you're going to make it. You know, it's not going to. The waves aren't going to look you in the eye and say, "I believe in you." You don't believe in yourself right now, but I believe in you.
Right.
And that's why you do need to make that personal connection.
Okay.
And there's something powerful when that happens.
Right.
You know, we're doing a series in the book of Acts. It's a book in the New Testament in the Bible this fall. I'm super excited about this fall. But you read these descriptions, it's about the development of the early church, the very first generation of Christians. And it talks about them having everything in common and being together, and they're eating their meals together every day, and whoever's in need, they're helping each other. And there's just this sense of love and creativity and authenticity, and you feel drawn to it. And I feel like saying, but it can happen again. You know, that kind of community can exist again. And you know, by the grace of God, we can make it happen again.
But that community can happen again. But do you have doubts or disillusionment with what's going on in the world today? You know, I see you come on the stage and go, man, what happened in Nice and what happened in Paris and what happened in Brussels and what happened here? I'm like, is it, you know, we all do.
We all do. We
I mean,
look at these things.
How do you?
It's mind blowing, but you know, that's why we do what we do. You know, what are you going to do? Stay glued to the TV and just get depressed?
Right.
Or are you going to get together with some people and make a positive difference?
Don't you get more disillusioned than say TC and I? I mean, I look at that and I can't even watch the news.
Yeah.
You know?
It can be tough. And you know what's harder even for me are just the local personal things happening. When you're walking with a family through grief, especially if there's a loss that's a result of a real tragedy, that's so difficult. But the thing is, you can only walk through those things. You can really only get through those things together. We're just better together as human beings. We're made to exist in community, right. And we're also made to. I believe we're made to connect with God through nature, through God's gifts and I think people in Santa Cruz really get that because we have so much beauty that surrounds us all the time. But it's easy in our world to get disconnected because, ironically, I just saw a study that the more time people spend on social media actually the lonelier they say they feel. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
They're being social, but they're not having face-to-face connection time.
Well, and that's the problem with social media.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
No. Twin Lakes Church preaches grace.
Yes.
Can you explain more what God's grace is?
Yeah, well, grace is the whole idea that we get something for free. That's what grace boils down to. That something's just a gift. It's an absolutely free gift that you don't earn. You don't deserve it. You don't have to do anything to get it or to keep it or receive it. It's just a gift. And the New Testament teaches that that's how we receive God's love. It's just an absolutely free gift of grace. And this is a big deal for me because for whatever reason, as I grew up, my religious understanding became something like I have got to behave and be on my best behavior, or God's going to send me to hell, or at least he's going to make bad luck happen to me. And anything good that happens to me, it's because I had to earn it. And anything bad that happens to me, it's because I messed up. Right. I didn't, whether it's I made God angry, or I wasn't focused enough on the positive to get something good. Everything bad is my fault. Everything good is my fault. And that puts so much pressure on you. Sometimes people who aren't religious have that kind of an idea about life. That puts a lot of pressure on us.
I think a lot of people feel that way personally.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And it's easy for religious people to feel that way. You know, like I'm either making God happy or angry with my behavior. Everything I get out of my life is because I am behaving either rightly or wrongly. And to me, that's a real it's kind of viewing God as the cosmic CEO, and you're working for him. And he's either going to give you a raise based on your job performance, or he's going to give you a demotion, or he's going to call you into the office, or he might even fire you based on your job performance. But if you look at the way Jesus talked about God, he didn't talk about God as the cosmic CEO. He talked about him as our Father, as our loving Father. And there's a great chapter in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 15. It's the only time he tells 3 stories in a row. And he goes, it says his audience is these super strict religious people, the Pharisees, who believe this way, like you got to earn everything from God. And it says a bunch of quote unquote tax collectors and sinners and prostitutes who probably thought they were too bad to get anything from God. And he says he told this audience with these 2 people in it 3 stories in a row. He says, this is what God is like. He says, God is like a shepherd who lost a sheep and goes out to find the sheep, and when he gets the sheep back, throws a big celebration. Or he's like a woman who loses a precious coin and looks all over her house until she finds the coin, and when she finds it, she calls all her friends in and they have a big party. Or he's like a father whose son runs away from home and he scans the horizon, and when his son comes back home, he has a big barbecue and a party. And he says, this is what God is like. This gracious God. To me, what happens when you have that picture of God is you respond with gratitude, and that's what ends up changing you from the inside out. You begin to want to be a loving person to others when you believe that you have been the recipient of love from the greatest being in the universe. See how that happens? That's grace.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like how faith is recession proof.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
That's kind of cool. And a quick story I wanted to say about Twin Lakes is, both my kids went to school there.
No kidding.
My son went to school there too.
And
right?
Awesome. you have someone who works for you, and that was both of my daughter's teacher, Steve Craig.
He was Quinn's teacher,
Mr. Craig.
Mr. Curley.
Yeah, Curley, of course. So a quick story about Curley. So my daughter Kelsey comes on one day and she goes, "Dad, my teacher has tattoos." And she goes, and he's really nice. And she had this stereotype as a child of being afraid. And he changed.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
He changed Quinn's life too.
And both of my kids,
awesome.
to this day, he was a huge influence in their life.
And my son too.
And now he deals with the teens now, right?
He's teens and young adults.
Yeah. And he surfs, so it's good to give him a plug.
Yeah. Big surfer.
So
but you're right. Tattooed, shaved, bald hair.
Scary looking.
Yeah, kind of scary looking dude, but nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what an influence on my children. And what a great school. I mean, Neil, like you said, your kid went there too.
Thanks,
man. They turned out to be awesome kids.
Yeah, it was great.
Because your foundation.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Was there.
Hey, I'm stoked about the fact that we are starting our first full year in our brand new school building.
I wanted to ask about that.
Can we come back and talk about that in a second?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. The show is brought to you by Santa Cruz Mountain Brewing, award-winning local certified organic brewery. 7 flagship ales, wildly innovative seasonal beers, ciders, kombucha. Go check them out. Located on Swift Street, Courtyard, 1402 Ingle Street in Santa Cruz. That is Santa Cruz Mountain Brewing. Neil, TC, Rene, we'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is Numa and Isaac from Aloha Island Grill. Well, summer's right around the corner here in Santa Cruz, and that means one thing. It's time to come get your grind on at the Aloha Island Grill.
Come over to Aloha Island Grill and eat some food.
We're located on the corner of Portola and 17th Avenue, and we've got a beautiful lanai for you to come sit out on. We've got a fine assortment of plate lunch, fresh ahi poke, and other wonderful treats for you to enjoy.
My favorite food at Aloha Island Grill is Kalua Pig.
We've got ice-cold beer and wine for those hot summer days, and try some of our homemade POG, Passion Orange Guava Juice. It's delicious. For to-go orders, give us a call at 479-3299. Find us on the web at alohaislandgrill.com or come on down to 1700 Portola Drive. Aloha Island Grill is a proud member of Think Local First.
Chill Out Cafe on 41st Avenue, Santa Cruz is not just a block from some of the world's best surf, but it is also where you can go relax and order the tastiest grub before and after your sesh. Plump burritos, fresh salads, sky-high sandwiches, and a superb selection of hot and cold drinks. They have something for you. Go to chilloutcafesantacruz.com to view their menu, and to place your order to go, call 831-477-0543. Chill Out Cafe, where they roll the fatties.
And we are back with the Off the Lip Radio Show right here on KSCO AM 1080, streaming live on SantaCruzWaves.com with our very esteemed guest, Pastor Rene Schlaepfer from Twin Lakes Church in Aptos. We're stumping him tonight, though, with Hobbit trivia.
I'm 2 out of 3. I'm 2 out of 3.
You're 2 out of 3.
Well,
I'm going. This is a tough question right here.
Okay.
This is a tough question. What is the first line of the Hobbit?
Oh, my goodness.
What is the first line of the Hobbit?
What is the first line of the Hobbit?
Yeah.
Do you know, TC?
Absolutely not.
Again, oh my goodness, I know.
Your kid,
I know
your family at home just
right now
screaming.
at home. I think probably my wife and my youngest son David is listening, and they both know the answer to this question. I should have had them join me.
And the answer is, in a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit.
There lived a hobbit.
You know, we should have had the missus call in with some dirt.
No, that's next time. You know what?
All right,
that's next
you gotta
time.
leave something for next time.
Trust me. I email
right.
people at TLC, Stevens ministers, who I love and dearly.
Thank you.
I email, but they no, we're not telling you. No, we don't want to. We like our jobs. Thank you, Neil. We're not throwing Rene under the bus.
Should we ask him our question we ask everybody?
What's that? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Rene,
you've been doing
our
this
question is, we ask everybody this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your favorite decade and why?
Oh, my favorite decade and why? Oh, that's so hard. So tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Oh, man. You know what? I'm going back and forth between the 60s and the 70s, because the 60s, you had the Beatles, you had this explosion, this sudden fantastic creativity in music in the mid 60s and the late 60s. But I might say right now, I would say early 70s, because
great time.
What happened was they kind of honed the stuff that they were experimenting with in the 70s.
Right.
And and the 60s, you had the early Fleetwood Mac and you had Led Zeppelin coming into their own then, and you had the Doobies really flourishing then.
And that's right about when you started radio.
But kind of mid 70s. Yeah. I was in junior high when I started. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, the build, we got a brand new building at the church, a new school building and children's ministry building. School starts next week, but you can come this week and check it out.
Are you
It is a beautiful
accepting
building.
students to the school at this point, or are they full?
I think people ought to apply, because some of the classes may not be full. We're pretty close.
Okay, and they can apply going to TLC.org.
They can go to TLC.org and get more information there, or TLCS.org.
Okay.
Or Google Twin Lakes Christian School.
TLC a little bit, and we'll talk about your services.
Yeah.
People.
So I'm really excited about this. We actually have a big new thing starting at the end of September. It starts the last weekend of September that we are literally finishing now. It is this huge project. I decided a few years ago to retrace the journeys of the apostles around the Mediterranean world, the way they're described in the book of Acts. And in the modern world, that's Israel, Turkey, Greece, the Aegean Sea, islands like Crete, and Syria. Right. So and Italy, and I retraced the journeys everywhere except Syria. Pretty much everywhere except Syria, because of the war.
A little tough to get there.
So I decided, I'm going to have my own adventures, and took some groups from the church through these different places over about 3 different trips, kind of retraced the steps. And I interviewed some experts on travel in the ancient Roman world, met some archaeologists that were excavating. We saw archaeological excavations. We visited sites that are not open to the public, ancient caves. And while I was there, I also had some adventures of my own. We were literally in the middle of a riot in Turkey. We looked out our hotel window, and there was a mob tearing a bus station to pieces.
Wow.
We turned on the TV station in our hotel room. There was a helicopter shot of us, of the street we were looking at outside our window. And then we saw the police coming over a bridge there. It was in Istanbul. And, we've all seen these things on the news, and here come the police with their tanks and their water cannons and stuff, and they're fighting the rioters right in front of us. My 16-year-old son came running into our room.
My gosh.
And, Mom, Dad, there's a riot outside. And we figured, sure.
Right.
And we looked outside. Well, there's a riot outside. and I had my passport, money stolen in Athens, and I ended up arrested in a Greek police station. And had to talk my way out of that one. Ended up stumbling over a nest of snakes in an ancient ruin in Turkey. And all these stories are in a book that I wrote called Acts Odyssey, On the Trail of the Apostles.
That's coming out soon.
And it's an adventure book and Bible study. And our church is starting an 8-week series on it. The last weekend of September. It's augmented with videos that we shot on site in these ancient locations. So
that sounds amazing.
Does that sound fun?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Kind of adventures.
Rene, we have to invite you back. Will you come back on this? That takes care of that guest.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
He probably got a text from the wife.
I mean, we didn't even scratch the surface on anything.
I'd love to. I absolutely would love to.
And it just, I got all kinds of questions here.
Well, we didn't. I mean, for the people who don't know, Twin Lakes is a large church.
Yeah.
I mean, is it one of the larger in the area?
It's the largest.
That's what they tell me.
It's the largest in the area.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's an amazing facility, and you guys have.
And you know what you do is when you get on the property. For me, when you get on the property, you just feel good.
I'm so glad to hear that.
You drive on there, and you're like, oh.
I'm glad to hear that.
There's not.
Well, it's well maintained.
And they have a lot of great events, and the car show you just had.
The car show is great.
Incredible. Yeah, tons of great events.
Well, you know what else I wanted to just really touch on, and we can do it again if we ran out of time, is the community effort you do with Habitat for Humanity.
Right. And Second Harvest.
That's what I meant Second Harvest, but I know you do. You do a can drive, and
we do.
It's huge.
It is huge. In fact, I was just looking at a letter that Willie Elliott McRae, the president of Second Harvest, sent me on the occasion of our church's 125th birthday last year. And he told me that we've given them over 7 million pounds of food. Right. And I think that's more than any church in America has given to a food bank. I looked it up the other day, and I couldn't find any church that had ever given more. So I'm really proud of the church. I told them that this year I will shave my head completely like Curly, Steve Craig, if they provide over 1 million meals.
If they beat it. Hey, 7 million pounds of food. That's incredible.
Over the last several years.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's an incredible undertaking.
Rene,
I'm proud of the church.
Thank you for coming on the show.
It's been
a
blessing.
Honor.
He's got that smooth radio voice, doesn't he?
I'm going to do more practice.
Well, I'm going to try, too. I got to work on that. I need a good name, too.
We're off to Star Benny. Hopefully, we're off to Star Benny.
Yep.
Hopefully, Rene will join us.
I love it.
Some little bit of grub. There's great grub down there at Star Benny.
I love my chicken piccata.
Before we go, though, I saw this on Twin Lakes Church Instagram page today.
All right.
I think you put it on there, and it says, prayer is not a time to be good. Prayer is a time to be real.
Yeah.
God can handle your honesty.
That's right.
I want to thank you for listening tonight. This has been the Off the Lip Radio Show, right here on KSCO. Next week's show, Mr. Sean Dollar.
Great to hear what's going on in him.
That's a great name.
Sean Dollar's coming on the show. Yep. Look forward to that. We've got a great show. We're booked through November, so tune in for some great shows coming up.
Breaking news. We got Jason Jesse confirmed.
Jason Jesse is coming on the show. See you next week with Sean Dollar. Good night, and thank you, Rene. Good night, all.
From Capitola to Carmel, Red Hot News Talk, AM 1080 KSCO Santa Cruz.
To 9,000 acres.
It's this gusty wind, the hot temperatures, and the